what else is going on, Albert, before we get into the game previews? Like, what do you want to talk about?
I don't know. I mean, like, we talk about the tush push for the 10 millionth time if you want.
Oh my God. All right. So here's my long and short of it. If you didn't see last weekend, there's the videos of the Eagles clearly being offsides about the tush push and the league filing copyright infringements so that they can't be shared on social media and and everyone's here's the deal. I agree with this was a take that Jeff Schwartz had. I saw the other day, and I love Jeff. He's one of my favorite people in all football media. These are the final months of the tush push. It's gone after this year, especially after the way that it was utilized in the Chiefs game, in America's game. They're gonna find a way to get rid of it. Enjoy it while it lasts because it's gone.
So let me ask you this though. I agree with you. And I look at the game like I actually like where I may have just come around on this, which I wasn't. I was against banning it, and have been against banning it for a couple of years now. The couple things there, the false start thing, and then Drew Tranquil coming out of the pile with that ball, and everyone assuming, and just the assumption being that Jalen Hurts didn't fumble it, even though there was no evidence that showed that Jalen Hurts didn't fumble it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to me is like, that's tough to get past for me, because that was, I mean, like you're putting the defense at such a big disadvantage there, right? Because if you're going to let them getting a step, right? If you're like going to allow them getting a step on the defense be allowed, when all you need is a step for that play to work, then that's a problem. And if you're going to take away one of the defense is in such a tough spot in that play, and if you're going to take away one of the best ways to defend it, which would be to punch the ball out from Jalen Hurts, if you're going to take that away because, we'll just assume that he held on to it and he was down and Drew Tranquil dug it out under the pile. Well, then, I mean, I just don't know how you defend it anymore. You know what I mean? Like, that got me. And I think the hard thing now is that I think the mistake people are making is thinking that this is just about the push. It isn't. In fact, there are lots of examples of this play where the guys behind Jalen Hurts don't even get to him before he's across the line. So I think the idea that just banning, pushing and pulling a teammate, right? The idea that is going to take this play out of the game altogether, I think that's false too.
Yeah.
Because what's going to happen? Like, you don't think the Eagles are going to keep doing this?
Right.
Next year, if you can't push them? No. The Eagles align those two guys who are pushing them be basically in the A gaps, right? And just have them running behind. It's just, that's my question is like the next level of this, you can ban pushing a teammate, right? All good. Ban pushing a teammate. But is it going to like stop this play from happening? I don't think so.
No.
And
I
like,
bet
I don't
they
know.
already
And then
know.
how do you write a rule to like, are you like now going to try to legislate line splits? I don't know.
And quarterback sneaks in general.
Right. So like, I don't know. I don't know that just banning pushing a player is going to take this out of the game. That's my thing. And the stuff that we saw on Sunday, like if it is still in the game, that's not going to go away. Like the problems officiating it when it comes to the false starts and when it comes to a loose ball, all of that. Like, well, that's, I mean, to me, like that isn't coming out either if you ban pushing a teammate.
I wonder if you like, and this would be hard to legislate, but could you almost make it a requirement for the ball to travel backward a certain distance before it goes back towards the line? Like, I mean, that's the only way that I'm thinking that you could get out of the quarterback sneak business altogether, right?
Which, I mean, like the NFL, like,
but that's ridiculous.
That's the other thing that's sort of interesting about this with all the quarterback injuries we've already had this year. Like, you have to think something's coming, right? In the offseason.
I mean, they overreact. What was it? I think it was like maybe 2018 or 2017. I mean, I'm going to be fuzzy on the dates here, but it was like Deshaun Watson tore his ACL, but it wasn't just Deshaun. It was like think Aaron Rodgers was hurt that year. There was like 5
Yeah.
really good quarterbacks. I think you know what I'm talking about. And then that
Right.
might have been the year that then the next season there was the body weight rule put
Yeah.
in, or there was some sort of an adjustment or an
Right.
emphasis on those rules, right?
Right. Yeah.
And
So
so we'll see something like that, I guess.
yeah, that part of it, I think, it'll be interesting to see if there's if there's some sort of change. Now, I don't think it'll relate specifically to this because this is just one team and the quarterback's not hurt. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I think like the writing of the rule, you can work on the push part of it. But I would just caution people to thinking that changes things altogether. And I've been screaming this from the mountaintops for a couple of years now. Like, this is not just about them pushing Jalen Hurts. This is about Jalen Hurts' leg strength, Jalen Hurts' build. This is about the Eagles' offensive line being able to get off the ball the way they get off the ball. And this is about positioning, right? It's about line splits. It's just there's so much more that goes into it than just the push, which is part of why I have always looked at this as more than that and why I've been against banning it. But the officiating thing, the thing that Dean Blandino said on the podcast, on the broadcast, that got through to me a little bit, you know. So I'm coming around on this one.
I will never support a tush push ban. I am a tush push absolutist, and I will raise hell when it goes down. But I understand that it will inevitably go down. But it's like my whole thought on the situation is there's a comedian, Patton Oswalt, who was referencing something else, but he's like, in an argument like that, it would be more interesting for me to have to debate you if your reason was, I just don't like this. You know what I mean? And if the NFL was like, if they stopped being like, well, technically the push is this, and then technically, and if the NFL was just like, we just don't like this, stop it. That's a more interesting debate for me to have than, well actually, you have to change the parameters of the rule to this, you know?
Troy Vincent has sort of said that, though.
Yeah, it's just like, this play sucks. Let's
like,
take it out.
We don't like we don't believe it's a football play. So he's said something. I think Troy has said something that's pretty broad based about that before. So maybe he's the only one that's being honest about it, but I think I have heard it from him.
Like, and to tie it back to what we to what we talked about at the beginning of the show, it's like the NFL just needs, like, Roger Goodell just needs to be like, Tom Brady's the greatest player in history. He's good looking. He's great in studio. People love to hate him. And it's far more worth it for me and my bottom line in my pocket to have him be both the owner and a lead color commentator for a major network. Done.
Yep.
Who could argue with that? You can't. Yeah. There's no argument. It's not like, well, we just adjusted Article C, Section 1 of Rule 2 to make this sound like... No, just be honest. Like, it's harder for me to argue that point then.